Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hola. Happy Tuesday and welcome everyone. Diali, welcome to the new Eco Poder Plática live for today. ¿Cómo estás? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I am feeling good. It's Tuesday for sure. Mondays are tough.
It's Tuesday, but it's been feeling like these weeks are just getting longer and longer. Con todo lo que está saliendo.
Yeah, sí, es difícil. Es difícil dejar de trabajar a veces. A veces.
Sí, eso sí. Diali, I think you've just been I've been really trying to connect with you, but I think you've been traveling a lot. What's going on? Can you talk to us a little bit? I know you've been up and down, but I know you've been very busy. What's something that you've what's some projects that you have going on?
So last week I was actually at a conference in Kansas City. It's the first time I've been to Kansas City. I really loved it. The weather was so nice, which was a plus for us because we don't get good weather in the summer. But I was able to eat some delicious barbecue. I just wanted to say that. So
Sí.
good. So good. But I was at a conference for an organization called Unidos US, and they are like the biggest Latino civil rights organization, and they do a yearly conference to just talk about like the current issues that affect like our community. So I went to represent climate power and talk about like obviously how climate affects us, and do a little bit of that connection with people, and it was great. Like it was, I came back more energized for sure, even though it was long days, as conferences.
No, I love that. I love that. I mean, I think the getting that diverse perspectives always kind of adds to the work. It adds like more,
Sí.
elements, of a deeper understanding of how to connect with community también.
See, especially nowadays, we do a lot of digital stuff. Obviously, we're doing that right now. And even though we live in the same city, I don't get to see you often, right? We don't have in-person meetings as much as we did before. Entonces, be able to go to like conferences in persona is
Hmm.
great because you get to meet people
Hmm.
IRL.
See, see, see. And then the connection, the brainstorming that takes place, it's always good.
Sí, sí, sí.
And I know right now it's just kind of like we're being bombarded. Like every week, there's new and new things that are coming out. So it's always good to come back and reconnect with community and just kind of move forward on the same step, juntos.
Yeah, we all need like to just like support each other as much as we can, and and make sure that we're showing up for each other too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, I wanted to give people a little bit of time to get comfortable, to join in, to reshare. Today we have a special edition. Tenemos a nuestra amiga Diali. She's a friend of Poder Latinx, and has been part of our growth and work that we've led here in Arizona for a couple of years now. So happy to have her on. Uh, I do want to just make sure, yes. So again, welcome everyone. Very excited. Today we're talking about clean energy and how we're powering Arizona to the future. Want to invite Diali. She is a person that she's from es de Mexico, but she's grown up here in Arizona. Graduated from ASU and completed 2 terms with AmeriCorps. She moved to DC in 2016, where she led national campaigns to protect the Affordable Care Act, expand child care access, advance immigration protections, which is where I met you through the We Are Home campaign,
Yes.
voting rights, and mobilizing communities for the 2020 census también. You've been across the country, and now you're the state director with Climate Power, and we see the amazing work that you're doing and educating the community about clean energy. Diali, welcome. How are you today?
Gracias. Thank you. Wow, you took me down like memory lane because I'm like, wow, it's been almost 10 years that I moved to DC, and then also 10 years since almost we were going through the first Trump administration. So here we are again, you know what I mean? And now I'm doing this work in Arizona, which that's where I migrated to Phoenix. back in 2000. So I've been living more here than back in the country that I was born. So that sometimes is hard, but you know what? I'm out here, connecting with people and like just trying
Mhm.
to show up the best way I can.
No, that's exciting. And we absolutely love and adore you here in Arizona. You've done so much, and you mean so much to the people here. We want to ask, what does environmental justice mean to you, and what keeps you grounded?
So I think environmental justice, I started understanding it in a perspective from like organizing, as you mentioned. Like I started as an organizer back in 2014, doing a lot of the work around the Affordable Care Act, which was like, oh, some people know it as Obamacare, but I was doing a lot of work around health and making sure that people got the coverage that they needed. But having conversations with people that way, and then doing a little bit more around reproductive health care and looking at the intersectionality of it all really helped me understand that like we don't live like single issue lives, right? O sea, experimentamos todo al mismo tiempo because we live and breathe everything around us. So being from Arizona, specifically from Phoenix, a desert city, a beautiful desert city, but yet hot, you experience it that you experience the heat y a veces se nos olvida that it's not normal the way in which it's getting hotter here, right? So for me, just environmental justice means that everyone deserves the right to like fresh and clean air and water, and making sure that we all are here like living our best lives as much as we can and having the opportunities that everybody else has, and not living in places where it's getting polluted because of big oil and like billionaires that just want to like extract our resources,
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, thank you for the inspirational work that you do again. It is super important, especially at a time like this. I do want to pivot into a more what's going on right now.
You tell me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you tell us. There's been going on. Arizona, or let me go back. I want to start off by talking about the latest on what's happening with clean energy. Uh, Last month, Congress passed the big bad bill, and current president signed that into law. That bill is bringing a whole world of changes to what we had won 3 years ago under the Inflation Reduction Act.
Right.
And even after all these court cases that have been kind of preempting and stopping some of the actions that the administration has taken since it took office in the beginning of the year, the big bad bill gives them a lot of power and is going to allow them to make a lot of changes to programs that were approved, etc. Programs that we're excited for, and I know we're going to talk about some of them right now. Te lo paso para atrás a ti. Can you tell us a little bit about what's inside of the big bad bill and what's going to happen here in the near future?
Yeah, for sure. So I think some of us are calling the law that passed now the big bad bill, because that's what it does. It just brings bad things to our communities. Obviously, we're going to talk about clean energy and relations to the bill that, or the law, because it's not a bill anymore. It's actually a law that was signed by President Trump. But what I wanted to say is that on top of the clean energy cuts that they're doing, there's also cutting like access to healthcare for a lot of communities across the country. Also supercharging mass deportations with giving a lot of money to the HS and ICE to hire more agents. And we are seeing more and more activity there that are putting our communities at risk and separating families. And then there's also cutting food assistance and social security and like Pell Grants. It's just like a lot of things that sometimes it's hard to keep track of, right? And especially for the job that like you and I do, Jose, is like we talk about the environment and like clean energy and things like that. But I also wanted to make sure that we are talking about everything else that is part of that bill, because it's a connection of making sure that the government is cutting all the programs that we rely on, just to give tax breaks to their friends and billionaires, right? So I just wanted to start with that. But when it comes to clean energy, and what that means is that in July, when this came into law, it's the way that the impact that it has on clean energy is that $13 billion in clean energy investments were cut. Only, and this is only in Arizona, right? 13 billion in clean energy investments, and 13,000 jobs that we were expecting and seeing because of the Inflation Reduction Act that passed in 2002, as you said. So one thing that we're going to see probably right away or in the next few years is utility bills going up, because we're going to have to pay more for energy. Is going to make it more expensive, like I said, for us to access healthcare, and just continuing for communities to pay the price. One thing within that you mentioned, some of the tax credits, is that the tax credits that we as consumers were going to be able to take advantage of was the electric vehicle tax credit. So that one was cut out, but you still have until September 30th para aprovecharte para que puedas tener un carro eléctrico. That one, it was mainly to give you up to $7,500 for you to get an electric vehicle. But now you have until September 30th. So that's one. The other one is the home solar. So that one was going to cover up to 30% of homeowners' cost for purchasing and installing solar panels. Now you only have until December 31st. To take advantage of that. And that means that you have to purchase it, install it, and have it up and running by December 31st. So that's another thing. And I think the tax credit on that one, on average, was $8,000 that you could claim in your taxes if you purchase that. And then the last one is just about energy efficient, that you were able to also get money for that. I know there's some programs within Arizona that people can take advantage of that, but that could potentially also be at risk. But not to stop there, that's only on the law that passed, right? That we're talking about, the big bad bill, which is a law. But on top of that, also the Trump administration, particularly the Environmental Protection Agency, just eliminated solar for all. And if you're not familiar, yo sé que tú has escuchado de este programa, José, pero for those that are not familiar, this was a program that was gonna help to deploy cost-saving solar energy to low-income communities, rural communities across all the states. So this one was $7 billion for 60 grantees. Last week they were like, ¿sabes qué? We're not going to do that anymore. And they cut that. And that's like a huge thing for us, because this was going to lower our prices. It was going to make us, have better air, better quality of life too, because when you use clean energy, obviously you're not polluting. So this was going to be able to have residential rooftop solar, neighborhood solar, which I thought was really cool. And then just, again, like I said, more rural and tribal communities were able to get not only solar, but also storage, like batteries, so that they can store the solar power in batteries so that they can use it later on. And then the other important thing I think I want to talk about, because sometimes we don't talk about it, is workforce development. I think this was going to be a big opportunity for our communities to get trained on how to join the clean energy workforce and be able to work in solar. So unfortunately, that was terminated. We don't know exactly what's going to happen next, right? As you know, we have, for example, Attorney General Chris Mays that oftentimes does lawsuits against the Trump administration because this might be unlawful. So this just happened last week, so more to come on that.
See, and that's what we have been seeing is the injunctions, the lawsuits. They protected a lot of what we won through the IRA back in 2022. And I know that a lot of the programs that are being rolled out right now were some of those that we were able to protect. Pero with the passage of the big bad bill, and like you said, it's not a bill now; it's law. It's going to make it a lot more difficult to protect these kind of things. We just had our last live. We talked about solar for all and
Oh, okay.
the immense potential that it offers to Arizona. So it's in just a matter of 2 weeks, right? The Solar for All program, which saw billions of dollars of investment, where we were hearing success stories of people transitioning into solar, having more accessible utility rates and bringing their costs down. In just a matter of 2 weeks, they've already rescinded and are going to, cut back on that program. And
Yeah.
then you just named all these other tax credits, the EV, the homes and here's programs are at risk, at greater risk right now. So it's just kind of that's just what it's been this whole year, just week after week. Uh,
Every week. And I know lo que tampoco mencioné was the 2 weeks ago the endangerment finding as well, que también the Environmental Protection Agency just turned it back. And what this is, and I know you also have a great explanation for this, but I can tell you.
what is the endangerment finding? If you don't,
So,
because
basically, in 2009, when Obama was president, the EPA decided to create a termination for greenhouse gas pollutants, right? And say like some of the greenhouse gas pollutants endanger our health and welfare. So it's like science in action, right? To protect our well-being. And what it was is like it set standards for new motor vehicles and engines. So like making sure that we're not like extra polluting out there what is already polluted, right? So for the last 15 years, these standards have been the standards. But recently, the EPA administration is like, nah, you know what? That's not gonna work. So they again, like you said, rescinded it. And what it is, and I don't know if people are, I am learning a lot actually, but if you didn't know what greenhouse gases were, it's pretty much like they warm our planet, right? And the more we put out there, the more that we get extreme weather and climate disasters, and we are seeing that already. So what greenhouse gases are like burning fossil fuels, which has like I said, gas or oil or coal para nuestros carros, para factories y cosas así. So that is I think that's going to be a huge thing that is going to affect us. Maybe not tomorrow or maybe not next month, but en los siguientes años, we're going to see that really, really looking not so great for us.
no, see. I wanna go back real quick. You said the cutting or what the big bad bill is cutting is really what we've been really excited about, the emerging clean energy economy. $13 billion of investment and what was it, 14,000 jobs?
Almost 14. It was like 13,000 jobs that we were expecting that were coming and now
Yeah.
are like at risk.
And these are jobs again. And whenever I've been talking to a lot of gente about clean energy, right, and the potential that it has. It's safer, it's cleaner, right? It emits a lot less pollution. It's going to lead to cleaner air, better air quality, especially for our gente that we work outside. We're exposed to the elements. These things, they build over time. And I think when I was talking to gente and letting them know about clean energy, we're seeing it in action. They had plans for plants in Goodyear, in Avondale. Casa Grande has the electric vehicle manufacturing. There's a battery storage plant out in Eloy.
Yeah.
These are areas that are predominantly Latino neighborhoods, communities. And so the workforce development to start taking advantage of these kinds of jobs and transitioning into clean energy economy, to me, it's a missed opportunity that the federal government wants to take a step back, cutting back on these investments that were already planned in the billions of dollars for an energy source that we can make here domestically. I mean, that's just it's just not. What do you make of that? I mean, clean energy is, I think, the solution to the future.
Yeah. And I mean, Arizona, De hecho, estábamos en número 7 in electric vehicle manufacturing and selling across the country, right? So because of the Inflation Reduction Act that passed, there were a lot of companies that were looking at Arizona and were like, "Oh, there's a lot of potential there. Let's go and like build a factory or like a project out there." But we've seen since the Trump administration started in January, we've been seeing less and less companies either saying that they're going to close or saying that they're going to pause. For example, we had a clean energy company, Nikola, which I know you're familiar with, that just filed for bankruptcy because, and I mean, it could be because of that. It could be for many reasons and not seeing the growth here, right? Pero we also have Lucid Motors, like you mentioned in Casa Grande, and they build electric vehicles, and they are seeing the potential that Arizona has and like bringing the innovation to the state. And they actually purchased Nikola, so they're going to take over that so that they can have a location in the Phoenix metro area on top of Casa Grande. And I think one of the things I talked to Lucid Motors before, and what they're excited about, but they also what see as a gap, which I know we talked about before, is the workforce development. There's limited, but there's still opportunities there for like nuestras comunidades sean parte de esos trabajos que van a seguir existiendo. Maybe not as much as we want them to, right? Because like you said, clean energy is where we need to take our future. But because we're not there, I think for now we can really focus on like getting educated about like what does it mean for me to work in the clean energy space? What are the opportunities? What do I like? Like, do I want to be working for a factory that's creating like batteries or, you know, things like that? So it's really limiting the potential, and it's really like attacking the clean energy in the state. And that's really unfortunate because some of the members of Congress do see the potential in their districts, but for whatever reason, no lo protegieron.
Eso sí, eso sí. There's been a lot of talk. It's been all over. The articles, the media. There is a lot of interest in it, pero por cualquier razón, at the end of the day, Congress voted to cut it, and that's what we're going to see in the next couple of months. I wanted to invite people who are watching. If you have any questions or your thoughts about clean energy or anything that you've seen in your community, please share. We're happy to hear. And also for folks that are concerned about the reversing the endangerment finding, which again, como explicó Diali, is a scientific basis under which the EPA can set its standards and rules. It's the foundation, right, of the reason behind why. And our task in reversing and reducing human-made pollution, we have a way to submit, collect comments, and submit that. We have a petition, so we'll make sure to link that so you can be part of the movement and join us in uplifting our voices.
That's a good point. I think we do, even though sometimes we feel como que no tenemos el poder de hacer algo. You see what I did there? No, pero we can totally do something. Like, I think we can at least submit our comment and say like why we don't want the EPA to reverse the endangerment finding, because what you just said is like the endangerment finding is what gives the federal government the authority to regulate the greenhouse gases. And back few years back, the Clean Air Act passed, but the endangerment finding is how the government regulates this. So if that doesn't exist, then it literally is a threat to public health for not only, like I said, for like our generation, but like for all the generations that are going to come after us.
No, thank you, Diali. Also, again, if you aren't already, you should follow along to Climate Power. They have detailed analysis of all of these of the latest updates that are coming out on environmental justice, on clean energy for Arizona, and for really across the country. You guys are a national organization. And you guys provide those detailed breakdowns and invite the community to take action just at the right time to make sure that we're being engaged and making our voices count when it matters the most. Make sure you guys, if you aren't already, follow Climate Power. Diali, is there any things that people can look forward to here in the next?
I wanted to see, like, look at the link above. I just saw it pop up. Pero if you don't want to go to, there you go. If you don't want to go to a website, I know you all are having either Instagram or TikTok or X or Blue Sky. There's just like so many opportunities to connect. And we do have, if you just look for Climate Power, you can find us on there. I really do enjoy some of the graphics that we post. So if you feel like you want to go share that and talk about, why you care about climate and environmental justice, I highly recommend that. And then we currently also have a letter that you can check out, which is we're calling it Un Verano de Mentiras, and to kind of like bring accountability to members of Congress. So if you want to sign that petition, I think you can. That's what you're seeing right now on the screen. But that's pretty much for us to tell them, like, why are you raising our costs? Why are you cutting our clean energy jobs? Why are you cutting our healthcare access and all the bad things that they're doing? So they need to hear from us. So also, if you want to call their offices, I know right now they're at home because they're on their recess this whole month. So I also recommend, like, if you see any events that are happening out there, highly recommend for you to attend. If you're not an in-person person, give them a call, send them an email. Like, their staff do read that, and it's important for the members of Congress to really know what we care about.
Thank you, Diali. There you go. Stay engaged. They do pay attention, and the more they hear from us, the more impactful we're going to be. Diali, again, we're so honored to have had you, and we're going to keep up the great work on holding the officials accountable and promoting clean energy. I do just want to invite people. This Saturday, we're hosting a worker resource fair. It's in honor of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. The resources, some of the resources, they're still available until the end of the year. So we're still making sure that the community is taking advantage of the rebates before they're gone, and also just make sure the community is aware and educated about the opportunities that clean energy that it provides to Arizona and to our community. With that, make sure you guys follow the link, stay engaged, and our next Eco Poder Pláticas is going to be for a few weeks. It'll be towards the end of September, but it's going to be a great one because we're going to have a ASU professor, and she's going to share her expertise about environmental justice and the impacts that it has on our community. So make sure you guys are staying tuned. And before I go, I'm so sorry, I forgot. So before I go, we have, if you're in the area of California and you're tuning in, our Poderosa Summit is going to kick off in a couple of days on Thursday at Fresno State University. Make sure you guys sign up. Make sure, I think we're reaching capacity. It's going to be super packed, and it's going to be an amazing summit. That's the first stop out of 4. Arizona is next. That'll be in September 15, 16. But follow the link to sign up wherever state you're in. We're going to be in California, Arizona, Texas, and I'm forgetting Georgia it is. Ahí está. So if you're in one of those states, make sure you sign up and reserve your spot. Other than that, muchas gracias. See you guys at the next one.
Adiós.
Bye-bye.